Of Her Thorns to Give His Roses by Eric Carmel. If you notice to the upper left-hand side of the cover, it shows a chai symbol with wings, but I'll get into that later. Of her thorns to give his roses. Of her thorns to give his roses. A series of philosophical poems with love and reasons to find romance by Eric Carmel. This book, despite the ill content of my writing about a young woman named Jophiel in chapter 6, is being dedicated to exactly her. For when I was growing up and she was trying her best to stay young, which needless to say has been extraordinarily easy on her, I knew that sometime or another I would cross paths again with her. Easier said than done, as you will see, but to all of my better doings, or better halves, I must clearly state that my dedication goes to you in creation of this book. So thank you, my love, Jophiel. Table of contents. The preface of the book. I write the following pages because I believe it is in a woman's nature to slightly and unintentionally harm her man, or very similarly, prick the skin of her man as a thorn of a rosewood. With an outstanding yes from anyone you would ever ask, I could not just deliver this message across my own poetry. Instead, I would have to do so with the help of a select group of women. In this select group of women, there lies one truth about each of them all. And our poet, Eric, who has a history with each of them. This is not to say that the truth lies within the very words of this piece of poetry, but to say that the truth does lie within. As always, we find in any piece of work where love is involved, the truth lies within. Not to say that Eric's great sacrifice, which has been written in this book as many times as it has, had any truth behind it or not, but still we come to find ourselves thinking, does the truth still lie within? For all that is questioned, we may find ourselves at a crossroad of unquestioning the facts of this book, or to think that it's in our best interest to just devour each of the pages and to take in a wholesome amount of knowledge on love and romance ultimately to go with it. Hopefully you will not be offended by the simple nature of this book. My hope is that you will enjoy this read, that the characters themselves in this book will come to life and slow down for you the brief lapse of time spent here on earth. The truth is not only for God to understand, but for us to perceive as well. Now, not to knock on your perception's door of God and what it is that he believes about each of us, but to understand that mankind in itself holds answers to God's life as well. Something like a trade deal with two different species, one deal coming from the giants in heaven and the other coming from mankind on earth. As we all know that earth was created by God for mankind's discovery, God still has the capabilities of creation and death here on earth with mankind as well, because God never left us. Instead, God joined the fight for mankind's survival here on earth. Now, when I say mankind's survival, I mean Earth's survival as well, as Earth was given to mankind. Why? Because God loved his creation that much to join up with them, without most of them knowing who he is, or to whoever wants to believe the story of God in today's society and what has become of him. Which brings me back to one of my first points, that I pray deeply in my heart that whosoever reads this book will not become offended because of what they read, but inspired by the words of this writer's poetry and prose, that you can find yourself lifted up by reading one of the chapters in this book, just like you would if you were at a motivational speaker gathering. You can be motivated to show love to the world around you, or even strike a romance with someone new, joining on the adventure that is their life. Mankind only has one life to live, so I do urge you to get up and get out and get a move on with your life. Don't just sit around hoping that life strikes you the way you always wanted it to. You must be your own protagonist in your own life story.